How many of you have a computer? Let's see some hands. Should have asked who doesn't have a computer. Who has a cell phone? Pull them out and show them. Almost everybody, fantastic. There are 300 million computers and 1 billion cell phones produced every year. Most are obsolete or unwanted in 2 or 3 years. You know, all that pressure to upgrade. This creates an e-waste stream that is expected to grow 8% each year for the foreseeable future.
When you give an old computer to a recycler, you're also giving them your old stored data, unless you wiped it clean. But most of the time, hard drives are not secured, information is not wiped, and your information is made publicly available if it gets in the wrong hands. Hard drives are often ripped from so-called recycled computers, shrink-wrapped together, and sold as a bundle in the marketplaces in the developing world. Who do you think buys these? Unscrupulous dealers who scour them for your social security numbers, your passwords, and your bank account numbers.
Initially, we got involved in this issue because of the environment concerns. We quickly learned that we were really dealing with privacy and human rights issues. Electronic waste contains some of the most toxic substances known to mankind, particularly when burned. Burning is often done to retrieve the valuable metals that are also part of electronic waste. We learned that most of our e-waste is shipped to brokers in developing nations where the poor are exploited to dangerously recover these valuable metals under unsafe conditions, resulting in severe health risks, birth defects, local ground and water pollution, and global air pollution.
While federal and California state laws protect our state from dumping toxic e-waste into our landfills, exporting this waste to foreign countries is not restricted. Many unprincipled recyclers take the opportunity to collect e-waste and get money for doing so from the California Fund and immediately sell the e-waste to an irresponsible foreign broker for additional money. Our waste is exported to countries like China, India, and Ghana. You will hear more about the devastating effects of our e-waste on the poor people in these countries in a few minutes.
Here's how a non-green recycler usually does business. When you purchase an electronic product, a portion of what you pay goes to the California State Recycling Fund. When you discard your old computer, the recycler immediately puts your computer into a container and ships the container to a broker in a foreign country. This recycler is not adding any value. The recycler gets money from the California Fund, and he gets money from the foreign broker that he sells your equipment to. The foreign broker exploits the local poor people to extract valuable materials. Here's what the green business model looks like. The green recycler also gets money from the California Fund, but this local recycler shreds, sorts, and bales the recycled material. The recycler then sells these commodities to manufacturers who will use them for new products.
Our Tikkun Olam committee spent countless hours researching this issue, gathering data informally as well as in research meetings. Among others, we met with
Ted Smith, founder of Silicon Valley Toxics Coalition,
the Environmental Services Department of the City of San Jose,
Santa Clara Valley Water District,
Sarah Westervelt of e-Stewards.org and the Basel Action Network,
Robert Kyle from the Electronics Take Back Coalition,
Green Citizen,
ERI, Electronic Recyclers International,
and with Mayor Reed's policy analyst, who we worked with long and hard. We were very disappointed when Mayor Reed chose not to attend tonight. We determined that most laws and regulations that are on the books, including in California and San Jose, even with its supposed green vision, don't really address what happens outside the borders of the United States or the human rights which are violated by the current ways in which e-waste is disposed. Through our research, we learned of an independent standard created by the Basel Action Network. It's called e-Stewards. It was put together with input from experts in the recycling industry, the environmental community, occupational health and safety professionals, and the certification and accreditation industries.
The e-Steward certification program is a comprehensive program designed to protect human health and the global environment. Embedded within the e-Steward standard is ISO 14001, which is the global standard for environmental management systems. Recyclers must meet this standard and go through rigorous on-site audits at least once a year. The e-Steward standard is the only certification program that prohibits all toxic waste from being disposed of in landfills and incinerators, does not allow developed countries to irresponsibly export hazardous e-waste to developing countries, and has an extensive health and safety requirements for workers in every country, including developed nations where toxic exposures are routinely taking place. There are other key requirements, and they're displayed on the screen to my right.
It may cost more to recycle responsibly, but as we have recently learned from the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, sometimes the most economic choice is not the right choice. The cheaper alternative, letting a recycler pay you or even your local school for your e-waste, could end up costing billions of dollars in the future in harm to the environment, not to mention the many lives whose value cannot be measured. We're not saying that every non-e-Steward certified recycler is bad, but
using only recyclers who are e-Steward certified or are committed to the e-Stewards process is one way we can ensure that we don't exploit the poor in other countries and create safe jobs here in the United States and elsewhere, while we are also true stewards of the environment.
our federal and state government agencies are clearly not taking sufficient action. What the state of California calls certification is a joke, especially compared to a true audit and certification process like e-Stewards. Change must come from the local level to make the policy changes necessary to ensure that we are truly green.